Hey everybody, Scott Mitchell here with InMotion Hosting, and welcome to another edition of Community Q&A. Now, this week's question comes from Tina, and she says, I'm having trouble understanding email forwarders. I kind of understand the basics of how they work, but what if I want to set one for an email that doesn't exist? Or how about multiple forwarders? Well, Tina, this week's episode we'll go over email forwarders and show you all the ins and outs. So the first thing about email forward is it works with email addresses. So we're going to log into the cPanel here and go to the mail section. Okay, first we're going to check out the email accounts, just so you guys know where we stand here. So I've made 3 email accounts here, Bob, Fred, and Sally. Okay, and we're going to kind of work with these guys with the email forwarders. Go back home and then back to the mail section, and then there's a forwarder icon. Give that a click. Okay, and you see right now we have no forwarders. Okay, so we're going to create a new one. Now a forwarder just takes an email that's meant for one address and sends it on to another address. So the first one we're going to do, say Fred is our president. Okay, and he also wants to get his email from his Gmail account that he has. Okay, so that's very simply what I would do is just put the email account here, fred@customercommunityimh.com, where it wants to go. Here, forward to email address fredimh@gmail.com. Okay, now that's if I want things to go there. If I'm kind of canceling an address, then I can, use this discard with error, but that's usually not what people are using. They want to use forwarding to actually get the email at another place. I'm going to do that and hit add forwarder. Okay, so all emails sent to fred@customercommunityimh.com will now be copied to fredimh@gmail.com. So if I go back, okay, I see my forwarder here. Now what this means is fred@customercommunityimh.com, that email account will also receive a copy of an email. Okay, and as well as the Gmail account, so we're going to get 2 copies. So Fred needs to come back. If he only checks his Gmail account, he needs to come back here occasionally and clean out his email box here. Okay, so it does save a copy at both places. That's the first type of forwarder. That's a normal, everyday forwarder. Now, for instance, say that we're at another forwarder, and say Bob is the sales guy. And we have sales@customercommunityimh.com, and we go that to Bob. imh.com. All right, so we're going to send anything that comes into sales at customercommunityimh.com will be forwarded to Bob. Now, sales@customercommunityimh.com does not exist as a standalone email address, but that's just fine. Hit the add forwarder. Okay, let's go back. Again, it says same thing. Everything gets sales will be forwarded to Bob. And look, I see it here. Sales@customercommunityimh.com will go to Bob. Now, this is a little bit different than the one above it because it means the email address does not exist, the sales one. So there's no email address or email file or any account to clear out. Okay, so you can still give out the email address sales@customercommunityimh.com, and it functions as an email address as far as listing for emails and in the server. When something comes in for sales, it just sends it over to Bob. Okay, so that's how it works for email addresses that does not exist. And it doesn't have to be another email address on the server. You can do it just like this one above, where you send it to a Gmail account, or whatever. All right, so let's take this one out. Deleting a forwarder, very simple, just hit delete. Okay, so when I delete the email forwarder, then anything sent to sales, because it doesn't exist, will bounce back to the original sender saying this person doesn't exist. Okay, if I delete this one here at the Fred, since fred@customercommunityimh.com does exist, the Gmail account will no longer get the email, but Fred still will. Okay, there's nothing that the user or the person sending an email in is actually going to see or know that the forwarder is disabled. But it will if the email address does not exist, as in the case of the sales. So what we're going to do now is show you how to add more than one. Say you have, let's see, we had Fred, Sally, and Bob, and say they're the sales team. And so you want all these guys to get the same emails when they're sent to sales. Okay, let's do a little copy on this, make it a little faster. Okay, so if you want to have more than one person on the same sales list or same list for emails, in this case the sales, we're going to just put the email address in, comma, notice it says it's not a valid email address in. That's okay, because we're going to add Sally, okay, at customercommunityimh.com, comma, Bob at customercommunityimh.com. Oops, I messed up. Get that out of the way. Okay, so we have Fred, Sally, and Bob all listed. The only thing between them is a comma. Okay, hit add forwarder, and here it creates sales, sales, sales to Sally, Bob, and Fred. So we jump over here, and here we go. So we have 3 different ones, sales, sales, and sales to Bob, Fred, and Sally. Okay, and so anything sent to sales, each of them will receive a copy. So if you have little teams like that you want everybody to see the same stuff, that's the quickest way to do it. You can make them individually. It's just a little more time time sensitive there, or time takes more time. Okay, so that's what that works with. Okay, so and you can delete them. You have to delete them individually. So Fred leaves or whatever, you can delete him. But the whole sales team goes away, you have to delete each one of those. All right, so that is how to create a forwarder. That's the standard forwarder. That is the forwarder against emails that don't actually exist, and multiple emails in the same thing. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Community Q&A. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like it below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below so we know what to bring you in a future episode. Thanks, and see you next time.
Do you know the InMotion Hosting Support Center has thousands of articles, pictures, and video tutorials to help you out with your web hosting questions? Something for everyone, from beginners to experts. Join our community and sign up with your Facebook or Google Plus for free swag, prizes, and discounts. Visit our support center at inmotionhosting.com/support.